Hi guys, good time of the day to you. I'm Liana Antonovich. My channel is about equestrian training strategies. Subscribe to my channel using the button below and share it. Please comment if you agree with what I'm saying and leave your comments if you disagree. Let's keep this conversation going. In this video series, we bring to light the structural concept of training plan creation for a sport horse. So my hopes are we can bring the training plan structure to attention and begin using it to our own joy and to advantage of our horses. In the previous videos, we discussed the first 5 elements of what the sport horse training plan defines and manages. Needed activity volume in a lifespan across career stages was video 1. Workloads in a mix 2. Daily activity stack 3. Weekly training schedule 4. Sprints 5. We're almost done. Today we are at the last topic in this series, annual seasonal plan. In this video we will cover climate and seasonal waves, fitting sprints to your year seasons, adding the shows to your schedule. Horses were bred and worked with us humans in all continents all over the world. Each region bred its own type of horse, and then horses began cross-populating across the regions. For different climates, when we plan sport activities, we want to rule out 4 weather threats. We want to rule out extreme heat, extreme cold, extreme precipitation, and dangerous ground conditions. Most FEI equestrian sport activities are happening in this narrow lane between 20 degrees and 70 degrees in the Northern Hemisphere. In this latitude, in this lane of latitude, there are 4 distinctive seasons in the year. All further considerations in this video will be for this latitude lane. We have dry continental, humid continental, and Mediterranean climates. Some steppe, some almost tropical, and sometimes subtropical, but not much. In these climates, we have clear winter, spring, summer, and fall seasons that are recognized for their combination of temperature and precipitation. In winter, we have to rule out snow and rain, as well as hard ground conditions. Turnout is limited or may not be possible. In spring, we watch out for ground conditions as well as precipitation. From January 15th to May 15th, most equestrians focus on indoor arena work and horses are kept at stables. Somewhere between April 1st to May 15th, outdoor arena work can be added, but horses are still mostly stabled. Sometime between May 15th to May 30th is a good period to let horses for a pasture rest. It's warm enough. Stalls or outdoor sheds and individual or group turnout. So end of May, last half of May is when in most climates horses can be out as close to what they were in the wild. Of course, horses would love to continue roaming pastures in the summertime. And summertime is also a time of training intensity and of show schedule, of a show season. From June 1st to July 31st, horses are exposed to outdoor fields and arena work. Stabling can be for the night or 24/7 turnout. In some climates, turnout assumes a lot of fly sprays and fly sheets to fight bugs, especially in humid climates. August is typically the hottest month of the summer. In August, it is good to allow a horse to have some pasture rest. The horse can be kept from the heat in the stalls or outdoor sheds in individual or group turnout. September brings us fall, cooling off the air and precipitation. From September 1st to about mid-December is a perfect hunting season. Excellent time for endurance in the fields, outdoor arena work. Stabling is great for the night, or the horse is still turned 24/7. From mid-December to mid-January is a great time for downtime, veterinarian observation, vaccinations, etc., etc. So let's add sprints to our seasons. The curve on the chart shows the annual seasonal average temperature. It's approximate. It is colder in winter, and then it spikes for the summer. So let's map the sprints. We want to map, first of all, in the grass warm green color, our full downtime weeks. We already talked about that from mid-December to mid-January, 4 good weeks of horses downtime, and then we want to fit 2 or 3 more downtime periods in a year. In this example, we have another downtime at the end of spring when the ground warms up and we want to let our horses run and enjoy the weather and some first green grass. And the other downtime is in August. It does not necessarily have to be 2 weeks specifically here and 4 weeks specifically here. We plan the downtime according to various factors and also our own human schedule. When we map sprints, we begin then mapping sprints between the downtime periods. So first we put downtime weeks, and then we begin mapping sprints in between. For each seasonal training phase, we want to start from shorter sprints and then we elongate them closer to the end of the phase. Like in this example, we go with 3-week sprint, 3-week sprint, and then 4-week sprint at the end before the downtime. Here the same, 3-week sprint, 4-week sprint, 5-week sprint. The last week in the sprint is the recovery and drop of intensity and volume of activity. In the winter-spring season, we see that for this specific horse, for this specific example, we start with 3-week sprints, we extend into 4-week sprints, and then we reduce it again to 3-week sprints. One of the rationale for such a change, for shortening at the end of the training phase, is that intensity during these weeks, the workload, spikes, or we have to fit a few competitions. How to thread sprints? There can be variants. In this example, for Old Remont horse year 1, we fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sprints in the winter-spring season. We spike up to 4 and then we drop down to 3. There is another option for a horse that could be Old Remont horse year 2 for the same schedule and for, let's say, the same dates or similar dates in a competition season. The horse which is stronger can go longer, can take more training weeks before the recovery. In this case, we take 4-week sprint, 4, 4, and then we go into 5 and 5. The summer period with intensive shows can also benefit from a greater number of sprints, which are shorter. We go 2-week sprint after downtime, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 week, and 3 week. Such schedule can allow us to wisely participate in 3 shows in the summertime during 2nd, 3rd, and 4th sprints, assuming that a horse performs 1 show for that sprint and that show falls into the peaking week of that sprint. Another option that has a reverse pattern in the fall. After a August break, which is shorter, 2 weeks only, the horse continues working, but less mental workload, but more on repetitive, familiar to the horse workloads that more utilize its stamina capacity rather than mind. We can go with 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks, and then peak for performance, technical and mental, and then drop and go into the winter break. The old Remont horse, year 2, is already a developed under saddle, walk trot canter, solid athlete. That's why for such a horse we can plan less in green color recovery weeks, but we are mindful that the last week in each sprint is a recovery week as well, the blue weeks. So downtime is green and blue are recovery weeks at the end of the sprint. When we look at how sprints are aligned with the downtime, we actually get for the downtime the last week, recreational week of the sprint, with essentially doing nothing in the downtime. It's a full downtime. So in this case, the horse pretty much rests for 3 weeks. In this case, the horse rests 5 weeks and 5 weeks again in winter. So let's think about it. The old Remont horse year 1, according to this schedule, if this would be the schedule that we would assign to it, has 10 full downtime weeks, 3 seasonal waves, 3 seasonal training waves, 12 recreational weeks, the blue ones, and 12 peaking weeks. So 10 full downtime and 12 recreational weeks are 22 weeks in a year for recovery. 22 weeks in a year. It is 3.5 months. The peaking weeks are purple. Those are the weeks of the highest intensity in training activity, and it is good if we can map competitions into the purple weeks of the highest intensity. This is another example. Old Remont horse, year 2. Much more work and less rest. The horse has 8 full recreational weeks in 3 seasonal waves, 13 downtime weeks, and 13 peaking weeks. In this chart, the old Remont horse, year 2, has 8 full downtime weeks mapped into 3 seasonal waves. So 3 seasonal waves, the same. 8 full downtime weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 13 recreational weeks, the blue ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And therefore 13 peaking weeks, the purple ones. The number of peaking weeks is the same as recreational. Now, how does it fit into what we do with the horse according its career stage, age and career stage? The most frequently asked question and the point of discussion, passionate discussions with online communities and on the Facebook, is what we do with the foal and the young Remont horse first training year. Do sprints even apply to a horse that is essentially just was born and weaned from its dam and first stable familiarization and such? And the answer is yes. That's exactly where we begin to add this approach to horse's life, and then life is very easy for us. Well, let's take a look. A horse date of birth is May. The horse was born in May. So the first month of a horse's life, it's a fall. It's a fall, and it has a winter break, and then it's next spring and the first March of the horse life, of the fall life, and first April, and in May there is date of birth. So the horse is 12 months old in May. Wonderful. What we do? As soon as the sun is out and the ground is warm and we can get to that horse out of the pasture, we can take the horse out of the barn, the ground already permits. It is very easy to apply to a fall 2 weeks recreation time with a 2 week sprint. You take the fall, you do a few days in a row or with a day apart, some work in hand plus other unmounted, and then you let the foal go back to the pasture. And it's not too much work. Breeders invite, they do this work themselves, or they invite trainer on their property to work with the foals. It works lovely, and there is nothing much we need to do until we hit inspections. Yeah, inspections for yearlings. June, July, August, many of them in July, August, September, and that's where the trailering, leading on halter, running, jogging next to a person, work on a triangle, all that is introduced. And first vet check is happening when the horse hits a year, and then couple of video evaluations for themselves, for the foals for sale, for video is taken during inspection and such. It kind of starts making sense. And then the 1st of September is when the young Remont horse first year begins. Yeah, so we have a yearling coming into a second year. And we already can start doing little things. It is 2 week sprint in the fall season, and then 3, and then 3, and then 4. And again, a vet check before making a long winter break. For a horse at that stage, it's fully okay to give full 2 months off. And then in February, softly begin resuming the work, stretching the sprints. May, the horse can go out again for its summer break with other yearlings, 2-year-olds in a large pasture. Yeah, and then the next August, young Remont second training year begins. The interesting question for most equestrians, because most of us have not foals or yearlings, but most of us have horses that are ready to be broke or horses that are already on the saddle. We are very interested in how to add shows to our schedule. Well, this approach that I'm describing applies equally to schooling or FEI National Federation recognized shows. There are pretty much two approaches: shows as special life events and shows as routine weekends. The first approach is when we have about 4 to 8 shows in a competition season before regionals or championships or whatever else prize we are aiming for. You make your choice of shows, you choose this mode because you just chose it this way according to your personal plans, finances, horse training level, your own competition, scoring, medals, prizes, objectives. So it's either your choice, or it is what is available in your region, or it is what is available for your location. Because for some people, they live far away from the showgrounds and it takes many hours to travel to the showgrounds, so they typically do not plan a very intensive show schedule. 4 to 8 shows. Training weeks are 1 or 2 levels above the showing level. So it's in this mode, it's good to be training the horse during the training weeks 1 or 2 levels above the level of the classes that you enter at the shows. In this situation, your show's experience will be very pleasant and a lot to be proud of. If it is not so, then the show experience can be stressful. Risks of horses injury, even if you plan the shows very carefully, is higher. In this mode, greater focus goes on training days between the shows. Because all the training days and weeks are at your disposal, you can push the horse at home more comfortably further. So for this schedule, for this mode of planning, sprints fit the show dates set by show organizers. So you take the show dates as hard facts, they become milestones in your framework, and then you try to fit sprints, you thread the sprints into this framework. The other mode is shows as routine weekends. This is very popular for big cities and in Europe. They have such a high density population of equestrians and showgrounds that they essentially can show every weekend and travel 10 minutes away from home. For this mode, people plan 11-25 shows in the competition season, but it's for when you live in a dense area of many showgrounds. For this mode, you can show at the level that you train, because you train essentially at the shows. This is different. This is not for every adult amateur. Professionals are very easy with this. They jump on this mode very easy, and they enjoy it, and they can be in this mode every weekend. It's tiresome, but they can train horses at the shows. They have aptitude and stamina and mental strength for it. For young riders and adult amateurs, this approach is intense. And it is for adult amateur, for young rider, it is very difficult. But adult amateurs, when they own and train already their third, fourth, fifth horse in life, they can go for it and also make this planning mode successful. Less focus, though, in this mode is on work week training days, because they are allocated more to roaming recovery. So that's an interesting shift of intensity and focus. You train at the shows, but at home, the focus is more on allowing a horse roaming recovery. For this mode, you select the shows that fit your sprints. Because there is an abundance of show events in your area, you can see what sprints and recovery time thread is beneficial for your horse, and then choose the shows that are aligned with your peak weeks or the week just before the peak in your sprints. A little bit of Q&A. Adding shows to your schedule. Well, we take the first approach. A good fit is when a show hits the peak week in a sprint, or just a week before that. But what if a show hits the first upslope or recovery week in the schedule? Here we are talking about this question mark scenarios. So this is obviously a good fit. When the show hits the purple week, this is great, that's awesome. But what if it hits the first week or the recovery week? This is not a good fit, especially if you have only a few shows in your schedule. Recommendation from me is to adjust the number of sprints and length of your sprints, as well as periods of downtime if necessary. When two shows in such schedule are like in here, 2 or 3 weeks apart, use shorter sprints, including 2-week sprints, to allow for ample quality recovery time between the shows. This way, the risk of injury is minimal, and you will have a refreshed horse at a fuller capacity for the second show. If it falls into downtime, this is just a no option, not a good option at all. Another question. I have only 5 shows in a season. Okay, so we're still talking about the first mode. I have only 5 shows in a season, and the 2 shows are falling too close, only a week apart. I will have to travel 2 hours to my second show. Shall I scratch the second show? There is a way to still go to the second show. When 2 shows in such schedule are only 1 week apart, use the middle week as recovery week and adjust your expectations for the second show. A horse cannot be physically trained in a short time frame to improve performance at the showground. Consider adding 2-3 very light, short, under 30 minutes, technical sessions focused on signals and responses to preserve the stamina capacity for your second show. Horses take up to 2 weeks to fully recover from a show. This approach assumes that your horse is turned out for at least 4 hours a day in a free roaming situation. If your horse is very well trained or very young, your approach in between the shows may include mostly lunging or hacks on a long rein. By entering the second show, you a little bit sacrifice your training time and more impactful training efforts that you could do at home. So always be mindful of that. What is your goal? To demonstrate what the horse can do and get the score? Or you would rather use every possible comfortable situation to allow your horse to extend its comfort zone in the training session. I'm coming back to the slide. Once you have your annual plan with the shows added and sprints aligned and video evaluations planned, and you kind of get a feel when you need a vet check with your veterinarian, overall soundness exam and health exam with potential x-rays, ultrasound, any other diagnostics review, show this approach to your veterinarian and book proactively vet checkpoints in a year. Veterinarians love to do good proactive diagnostics. Your horse will also have more health and performance on the same annual vet bill. What a win for all parties involved. Takeaways. This is a difficult subject in terms of how to thread the sprints in the year, and to understand and to see how which sprints, which length of the sprints to apply for a horse at different performance levels, age, health, stage in the career, etc. So takeaways. Be rate alert. Homework. Draw your annual seasons. Map the sprint threads to your annual calendar. Check with previous videos how much progress you can expect from your horse this year to plan volume and intensity for your horse in a fair way. Step 3. Map shows to your schedule. Whether they are schooling shows, live recognized shows, a show that you create at home, having your trainer as a judge or somebody else as a judge, and whether you make a video for the online show or for online check with a judge. Then show this approach to your veterinarian. Book proactively vet checkpoints in a year. Like pick up the phone, write email, talk to your vet. Share the schedule, whether it is drawn on a piece of paper and you snapped a picture of it, or if you've done it in a PowerPoint slide or an Excel spreadsheet or in a Word document, it doesn't matter. Create it, record it, and show it to your veterinarian. Discuss, explain your goals, what you want to do, and pin sensible vet checkpoints. Veterinarians love to do good proactive diagnostics. Your horse will have more health and performance on the same annual vet bill. Well, thank you very much. I hope that this material is helpful. This is a free project. It is unpaid project. It is a free project for equestrian community worldwide, English speaking. And if that is helpful the way it is phenomenal. If you have ideas how to make it better, please leave your comments under the video, and we'll see what we can do going forward. Thank you very much again for your attention, for your participation, and good luck with your horses.